Howdy y'all, Stock Warden here, back with another video. And today we're looking at Archer Aviation and how they have been on a complete and total bear teardown over the month of March. I mean, we are looking at being down almost 33% over just March alone. So, because they ended up starting March right at the $6.50 mark. So right there at $6.50, and now they have trickled all the way down into the low fives, which today they had a decent day before the market ended up closing, coming up about $5.42 a share is where the initial closing was. So they did have a good day today, but it still doesn't come close to the falling that they've had over the course of 2026. Because just at the beginning of 2026 on through February, the stock had been able to maintain between $8.50 a share and $9 a share, and since then it has been nothing but downhill. So they have had quite a few different breakthroughs with their eVTOL systems. They've had some amazing outlook on where the company's going and how fast they'll be able to start putting people in their aircrafts, but it's still just not enough for investors to be able to hold on to this stock. So they are just about getting into the oversold territory, and there's a lot of things here and there that's coming in that is holding this stock down to where more people are selling off, even though they continue to have decent growth and also having a good viewpoint and standpoint where their eVTOL system is to start pushing around the public. So, I mean, if you look at everything they had, Hopscotch Air is now a new collaboration with Archer Aviation, and they are set for testing the future air mobility technology and operations. So while that update offered a forward-looking operational headline, it does not appear to have been very much of anything to offset the broader concerns, especially since the fourth quarter's report. So, I mean, because they had a fourth quarter loss of roughly 26 cents a share on revenue of $300 million, which both of those missed analyst expectations. So the company also posted an adjusted EBITDA loss of $137.9 million and guided for an even wider first quarter adjusted EBITDA loss of $160 million to $180 million. So Archer ended the quarter with roughly $1.96 billion in cash, cash equivalents, and short-term investments. So they still have a lot of money to hold, so it's not like this stock is going to end up dropping down into the zero, but it's definitely not looking good where they are having these flag delayed productions, rising losses, and also the likelihood that the company is more than likely going to have to figure out a way to raise incremental capital before they can actually start putting the public on their transportation to achieve that sustained positive free cash flow that they are significantly lacking at this point in time in the stock. So it's just created a huge oversight where a lot of people are not seeing Archer Aviation being able to deliver Whereas you look at some of your other eVTOL companies out there that are showing a little bit stronger of a base than what Archer Aviation is doing. So, and with Archer Aviation trading lower over the past several months, I mean, it's once it gets into the oversold territory, then it'll be possible that a lot of your short sellers will be coming to jump in for a short ride, but that's only going to bring in so much. So, but they are also looking at, really close to a 52-week low. So they haven't necessarily hit and stayed at that 52-week low yet, because right now the latest that we had on the lowest marker was a close of 494 on Monday. So, and their 52-week low is at $4.87 I'm sorry, $4.80 a share is where their 52-week low is. So, it's not far-fetched to really be able to see that the stock has come all the way back down from where they were a year ago. And not only that, seeing from where this stock was, just in the past 6 months, if we go back 6 months from today, the stock was trading at 12, 13, and almost $14 a share, which it only stayed there for a couple of days, roughly a little over a week, and then the stock has just simply started tanking from there. We've had a couple of months where we had a little bit of a lull, but everything has been a non-stop bear flag. So hopefully this company will be able to start making a decent turnaround, especially on their earnings. So, because they've had a lot of mixed earnings reports over the past year. So, if you look at all of 2025, we kind of go down to this estimate earnings charts here, you can see that they have met and ended up not meeting expectations for every other quarter. Given the expectation bubble is a lot lower for Q1 of 26, they're still believing that they're going to underscore the earning estimate for Q1 to 26. So then they'll have 2 red quarters in a row, and that is still not going to show anything good for Archer Aviation. So hopefully they'll be able to kind of kick off production a little bit better, get more of those air flight times to where they can finally start putting people in the aircraft to start creating that cash flow, especially since they're trying to get partnered in with all of these different companies to make something happen. So it's still definitely looking like a long haul for Archer Aviation, because they have been on the fence back and forth with a lot of different aspects on their eVTOL system. So with all that, it just seems like Archer Aviation is a definite, if you've been a part of this ride for a long time, then I would have to say my opinion on the subject is that the stock is not going to go away, and that the stock is not going to, quote unquote, tank out under a certain amount. But that also doesn't mean that, once they start getting this free cash flow and they start actually building into the public market and the government market, then the stock will start soaring. But all of that is a time to be seen. So, because they're looking at trying to put people on these airplanes by the end of this year, and or going into the beginning of next year. So hopefully all of that can stand true. And if so, there's no telling where the stock's going to end up going. So right now, the price would look like a bargain by the end of this year if everything goes as planned. So, with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, got a little bit more knowledge on what's going on with Archer Aviation and why they are tanking. Also, a small little tidbit that I forgot to mention, they are still in that court battle with Joby. So there's a lot of people that still have a bad taste in their mouth about that whole situation as well. If you want to learn more about that part, you can go back into the Archer Aviation video that I'll put up at the end of this video on the end screen, and you'll be able to go and watch that video to learn a little bit more about what's going on with that court case. So, with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. So this is the Stock Warden, riding off. Y'all come back now, you hear?